Get up, get out, and go to work. Now, I know you've been around the YouTube algorithm such as I have. I don't know if your algorithm is showing you the same thing it's showing me, but I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about 9-to-5s not being worth it. And I'm quitting my 9-to-5. Jobs aren't hiring, warehouse jobs. First, let me say the elephant in the room. Most, not all, most people that are complaining about this are working in a warehouse or something at an unskilled job. Those are dead-end jobs that aren't going to go anywhere. And you're going to feel it when you're working there, that no matter what you do, there's not much you can do to rise up other than, kiss ass, as some people like to say. Now, in life, when you first start life, your real choices are you either go to work right after high school. The problem with going to work right after high school is you haven't really built any skills or experience. So the kind of jobs you're going to be able to get are low-paying jobs that pretty much anybody can do, which is why they pay so low. And then you're going to feel like you're in a dead end. But, you're still getting money, your bills are getting paid. But it's going to take, I'd say, about 5 to 10 years for you to realize that you probably should have done something else or went to school or something. Because what you're doing now just isn't working. And the downside about that for a lot of people is that by that time, you probably shacked up, you probably got a kid or two, and now it's much more difficult to go back to school than when it was when you were fresh out of your parents' house or even still in your parents' house. So if you're going to go to school, if you're going to work right after going to school, just know more than likely you're going to stop doing that and realize that this is a grind and there's got to be a better way, which I think is what we're seeing with a lot of these YouTubers and content creators or whatever they are, just out here saying that I can't work a 9-to-5 the rest of my life. This is soul sucking and it sucks. Another thing you can do after high school instead of going straight to work, if you are so privileged to do so, is go to college. When you go to college, it is best to get a degree in something that you're actually interested in and passionate about, that you want to have a career in. So it doesn't seem like as much work because you are actually interested and care about what you're doing. Now, I know some people go and they get just a basic business administration degree or a communications degree, and those will help you. You will be able to get some generic jobs that kind of fit in. Some jobs, even entry-level jobs now, making 50, 60 grand a year, or maybe even 40 grand, depending on where you live at, require a bachelor's a lot of times now. So I know there's been a couple of videos where people saying your college degree isn't worth anything. I don't think it's worth as much as it was before if your college degree is not specific and it's one of the generic ones out there. So then after you get out of college, you still got to work. But here's the upside. If you get out of college and you can actually find a job either in the niche that you're in or just a job period, the chances of the job paying you more are going to be much higher than if you're in a low-paying, unskilled position. So maybe you can make enough money to actually pay for yourself. Now, I know a lot of people I've noticed, and I talk to a lot of people in real life, most people want to live above their means, which is why they feel like they can't afford to live. Now, let's not front and say that it's not way more expensive than it used to be to live out here in these streets. It definitely is. But it requires that now you probably got to live in a semi-hood place. I always say, and this is sexist, but it's true. The men out there, you have more flexibility in where to live because the threat of violence against your person is less. So you can live in a sketchy apartment building or a sketchier part of town and you keep your head down, just go to work, you'll be okay. The ladies out there, and be honest, that's just not the case for you. If the shittier the neighborhoods you live in, the more sickos and sex offenders and stuff live around. You probably do need to live in a better apartment complex that has a gated community and security for your vehicle. But going to college and getting a degree that makes a decent amount of money will help you be able to afford all these things. The other thing people do is go to college with the express intent in order to open a business, which is something I'm sort of against. I feel, and this is me personally, that if you're going to start a business, you should just start that business instead of going to college to do so. Think about it. If you go to college first, you're going to rack up a whole bunch of debt, and then you're going to get more debt by opening a business unless you just have the money to open the business. I think the better thing would be is to take that money, open a business. You might fail at it because, they say most businesses fail within the first 5 years. But what you learn during that time is crazy. And at least that time you made money instead of losing money going to school. That's just the way I think about it. But you could do both. In the end, you got to decide what's best for you. But there's a couple of different options for you out there. Now, I know all you people get upset and you don't want to go to work and you feel like you're making someone else rich off of your back by exchanging your time for money. Most businesses aren't owned by a singular person. It's probably by a group or investment group or board of directors or something like that. But you can't even really look at it like that. Your best bet is your job is in order for you to make money to take care of yourself. I mean, we all hate it, but in this world, that's just the way it is. You need to pay to take care of yourself. Now, there's different ways to go about this. If you like live with a group of family, it'll be a whole lot cheaper to do so. But most of us are more individualistic and want to live on our own, or maybe with a spouse, which is something you definitely can do to help you survive out here. But most of us want to try to live on our own, and doing so, it costs a lot more money out here these days. And another thing I hear from a lot of I think this is especially from the younger ones out there, but they say, oh, my job, they don't even care about me. They don't care. No, they don't care about you. Of course not. You don't care about them either. You're just there to work a paycheck. I mean, would you be there if they weren't paying you to be there? No, you don't care about them. So why would, I guess there's a degree of care they have to have in order for people not to be quitting in droves so they can keep their business going. But that's it for the most part. And most businesses are made up of people. There's not this entity that's called the business that doesn't care about you. Everybody there just works there, from you to the person next to you to even your boss and supervisor. They're all people that just work there. And if you can keep that in mind and look at that perspective of the person that's higher than you supposedly just works there just like you, they've got a boss and directives and stuff and telling them what to do. So they're coming down on you to keep their job because they also got a family and whatnot to feed. We're all out here just in this rat race trying to survive. But what disturbs me most is a whole lot of people are just saying, I don't want to work. Working sucks. What else are you going to do? I know people say, oh, you watch YouTube and watch the van life for people being homeless. Sounds cool, but the logistics of actually pulling that off and doing that are terrible. And if you want to know if you could actually live out of your car comfortably, go do it. Go do it. I've met people who've had to live out of the car, and none of them are like, this is awesome, I'm never getting an apartment again. No, they're all like, I'm trying to get a place. Some of them even stay in hotels for a couple of days just to get off the streets. And with that, we all can't be business owners, man. Every business needs employees, and if we're all owning a business, who's going to work it, right? And there's nothing wrong. Like, we're not all built to open businesses and be entrepreneurs. One thing that people don't tell you is when you own a business, yes, you're not exchanging your time for money in a direct way, but you'll work harder and longer than you ever have before to open a business. Take it from me. I've done it multiple times. You work crazy, super heavy. And sometimes it's easy to just go to work. And once you're off work, you're not worried about it anymore. When you own your own business, your business is on your mind at all times. You're always worried about getting more clients, getting more customers, selling more items, which we can go into more deeper, but everything and none of this is not nearly as simple as you think it is. And I know you feel like owning your own business means I don't have to work and that I'll make a lot of money and not work, but that's never ever the case. There's nobody out here that is making a ton of money and don't work. Maybe they worked a lot in the beginning and maybe they work less now, but it's not out here where people are just kind of dragging themselves out of bed in the morning whenever they want to. I think the closest thing to that life you're talking about is an entertainer's life, the life of a musician or a actor or something like that. Since they're not always working, they work in chunks with a large amount of money. So there are also stretches of time where they're not working, but they made so much money from the other stuff they have, they kind of are just chilling. But your regular person that's just working out here, even if they're an entrepreneur are out here working and hustling on a daily basis. You're never going to get around that. You're always going to have to work, and that's work hard at what you're doing in order to get money. There's no way around it. So I understand young people out there. I'm 40, 45, 46 years old. I've been working my whole life, not my whole life, but since my late teens, and I get it. I think I was in a place like you earlier in my life, and now that I'm older, I think I understand more. But if you do want to get into business for yourself, you definitely need to figure out what that is. Most people say they want to open a business because they think it's a way for them to make money and get rich and not have to work. I hear a lot of people saying, I don't want to have to get up in the morning and go somewhere and punch a clock. Yeah, maybe you're not actually clocking in, but you're getting up and going to work if you want to keep your money going. And once you get to a certain level of filthy richness, yes, your money can kind of work for you, but for a good chunk of time, you're going to be working super hard. And I get that you feel like in that instance, you're working hard for your own direct benefit. And that may be true, but the same thing could be said for from your 9 to 5, if you will. What you ought to be doing as far as your 9 to 5 goes is, I think I've seen this on YouTube before too, is basically use your job to fund your dreams. If you have something that you want to do and outside of your job, why is my nose itching so much? Sure, there's some wives' tale to say that there's some reason that your nose itches. It means something. If there's something out there that you feel like you want to do, something you want to accomplish, then go to work, make your money, and save your time. I know one of the things I've told people, especially young people, I'm not going to say young men, even though that's usually who I'm talking to, but young people in general, if you're young, say 18 to 22, you are still able to live at home or with someone else, you shouldn't be doing anything but working and sleeping and eating, and that's it. You spend a lot of time, more time than you think, in leisure doing nothing, doom scrolling on your phone, when you could be honestly working 2 jobs in order to save that money to get to the place where you can be doing something you actually want to do, starting a business or a franchise or whatever it is that you want to get into. There's tons of different businesses, tons of different niches, and it's best to get into a business or something that you're passionate and knowledgeable about. That way it won't seem like such a grind. If you're working on something like that, that is something you actually care and are passionate about, much like what I said about college, it won't seem so hard because you're actually interested and care about what you're doing. And I think that may be the key to everybody's feelings right now. Get into and participate in something that is something you care about, something that you're interested in, that's something that you're passionate about. If you're just going to the warehouse job and you're just, rolling around forklifts or packing boxes or whatever it is they have you do on the assembly line there, you don't care nothing about that. You're not interested in any of that. You just want to go there, do as little work as possible, just work. What I think it was from Office Space saying, you work just hard enough not to get fired and go home. And then once you go home, you're probably wasting your time doom scrolling, playing video games. Now, see, let's not get it wrong here, right? Video games, especially because, like I said, I have another YouTube channel where it's all about gaming. I play a decent amount of gaming, but one of the things you have to do is not let the gaming suck up all your time, because you will not accomplish anything outside of just going to your regular job and coming home and gaming if you have a goal. So come up with something. With that being said, my long-winded rant is over for now. If I think of anything else, I'm going to add it to the end of this video. Matter of fact, I'm about to get dressed and go to work now. I work nights in a warehouse, but I am the supervisor. So my job is to make sure you guys are doing your job. So no, you're not going to see a montage of me putting on my belt and brushing my teeth and taking a shower and any of that stuff. I'm not going to do all that. But if I do come up with anything else, I will add it to the end of this video. All right. Y'all have a good one. Now, I said I would give y'all some bonus footage of me at work. Maybe not at work in the building, but here I just pulled up in the parking lot at work. And I know you anti-work people on YouTube like to do your videos in the car. So here I am, figure I'd do a car video for y'all. Just to sum up what I was saying already before, y'all gonna have to get out there and work one way or another. Whether it be at a job for someone else, as you say, but really when you're working for yourself, because you're working to get that paycheck. So I know it sucks. I know you get tired sometimes, you just don't feel like it. But I'm gonna end it with just saying, go to work.